Wimbledon, fix your courts. Day 2 of Wimbledon was quite bluntly terrible, as we had 2 consecutive retirements on center court. 7-time champion Serena Williams was the most recent casualty, as while 3-1 up on Aleksandra Sasnovich, the 6-seed slipped midpoint, apparently hurting her left ankle/Achilles. Initially, it didn't seem too bad because Serena didn't fall down on the court or yell out in pain. However, after that point, she paused for a long moment, and that's when I knew that something was seriously wrong. She didn't look the same in that game, losing the next few points to get broken. Then walking to her chair, she visibly appeared to be in distress, limping, then calling for the trainer. She was teary-eyed when going off the court, and I immediately thought that it was over, but I did have some hope when she returned to give it another go. Unfortunately though, the pain was too much as Serena collapsed on the court in agony at 3-all, 15-all, and pulled the plug. This was quite possibly the worst thing I've ever watched live in sports. It's just devastating because you could see how determined and hungry Serena was for this Wimbledon title. Patrick constantly saying how hard she was training, and you could tell that she was really playing great in this match up until the injury. Then she came out in the cape and slam winning kit, so it's a shame that she couldn't reach her fullest potential with that. Williams did take to Instagram to give a statement to fans after not giving a press conference, saying, "I was heartbroken to have withdrawn today after injuring my right leg. My love and gratitude are with the fans and the team who make being on center court so meaningful. Feeling the extraordinary warmth and support of the crowd today when I walked on and off the court meant the world to me." So that statement was interesting to me because I thought that Serena had hurt her left ankle or Achilles, but she said right leg, so we will see. Serena has honestly had the worst luck with slams lately, looking back at the 2019 Australian Open, where she twisted her ankle on match point in the quarterfinals. Then at the 2020 US Open, she injured her Achilles during her semifinal match with Azarenka, also taking her out of Roland Garros that year. Now this horrendous injury comes when she was playing so sharp and competing in her most successful slam. Serena has managed to overcome a tremendous amount of adversity since her latest return, but I think this could be very detrimental, especially with all she's done to prepare for this slam and not being able to finish on her own terms this event. One of the saddest things for me was seeing her in such agonizing pain, but still trying to pay her respects to the crowd and coming back out to play after the timeout, which could also be her trying to do a proper farewell. As I touched on after her Australian Open loss this year, her reactions make it seem like this could be her final season on tour. Now she could be just showing greater appreciation for the crowd, as not having them during the pandemic was difficult. Nonetheless, the tearful wave and then her stumbling when exiting center court was utterly gut-wrenching as a fan. This is now the second time this season that we've had a really bad Williams sister injury at the slams, as Venus had that awful knee injury in Melbourne during her second round match. I hate seeing either one of them in pain. This retirement means that Serena is out of the top 10 as she had to defend finals points from 2019. Currently, she's 16th in the live rankings. Now, I'm not happy at all with Wimbledon and them making those social media posts saying, "Oh, it's a shame that Serena got injured," because it's upsetting. It's honestly their fault. The match before Serena's was Roger Federer and Adrian Mannarino, and the Frenchman Mannarino slipped and fell while 4-2 down in the fourth set. Mannarino though was up 2-1, taking advantage of Roger's poor play with some excellent shot making of his own. The fall of course halted things as Mannarino couldn't really serve or move with the injured knee. It's truly a shame because he was making a comeback in that fourth set and really could have beaten Roger for the biggest moment of his career, but the unsafe conditions prevented such possibilities. I feel like all of this could have been avoided, even Mannarino's fall, because on the opening day of play, Novak fell a whole bunch of times, clearly showing that things were very risky. After Adrian fell, I just knew that Serena would slip and injure herself, and unfortunately I was right. Another thing that upset me was people like ESPN commentator Jason Goodall essentially blaming Serena and Adrian for their injuries. He was saying, "Oh, well, the conditions aren't the best, but the players should know how to move on grass. Roger does." Serena has won here 7 times, just in singles. I'm quite positive she knows how to move on grass, just like Roger. Quite simply, a lot of factors were at play which contributed to the increased slips this season. The main reason is the rainy, damp weather as of late, making the courts moist. The 2 main short courts are even worse as there's a additional moisture with the roofs being closed. It's also very early in the championships where players are more prone to slipping anyways. Then with there not being an extra week between Roland Garros and the tournament this year, there's less time for players to get acclimated to it. Plus there hasn't been grass court tennis since 2019. Still, the warning signs have been there with, as I said, Novak falling, then Coco Gauff, who slipped at least 10 times in her match today. I also feel that if it was Roger who had fallen and injured himself, the tournament would have done a lot more to prepare the court before Serena's match, which says something. Going back to Goodall's statement, even Serena's opponent Sasnovich said the conditions were unsafe and she found it difficult to run for shots. Plus, Andy Murray tweeted about how slippery center court is. But what's done is done, and I cannot express how disappointed and sad I am, but I hope that Serena has a very quick recovery. Williams' departure obviously opens things up for the seeds in her section, notably Angie Kerber and Coco Gauff, who could meet each other in the 4th round. The women's season action today dominated with the exception of Alison Risk and Kiki Bertens, whom I predicted would lose their matches to Martinkova and Kostyuk respectively. Krejcikova, Mertens, Sakari, Jabeur, and Pegula absolutely clobbered their opposition, while Karolina Pliskova earned a solid win over Tamara Zidenzek. World number 1 Ash Barty, meanwhile, needed 3 sets to advance past Carla Suarez-Navarro, who's playing her final Wimbledon. Carla's comeback story has been really great to see, as she's returned after surviving Hodgkin's lymphoma. She played very well today, and I'll be cheering for her until her final match. One woman I'll always root for is Venus Williams, who defeated Mihaela Buzarnescu 7-5, 4-6, 6-3. This was a big win for V because she hadn't won a match since that Australia injury. Plus, Buzarnescu is a dangerous opponent, especially on grass. After faltering a bit in the second and failing to close it out at 5-1 in the third, Venus seized her opportunity on her 4th match point to win her 90th Wimbledon match in her 90th Grand Slam appearance. Incredible. A lot of the commentators and even reporters mentioned the tournament putting Venus on the outside courts despite her being a 5-time champion. After the match, she gave another one of her trademark responses, thanking the interviewer for being disappointed on her behalf. I know people will justify their placement of V on court 3 as she is ranked outside the top 100, but even when she was in the top 10 in 2016, she had to play on the small court 18. Williams will get to play on the short court tomorrow versus Ons Jabeur though, and if she wins that, she might play Muguruza on center court, although I don't know if I want her playing there as it is very hazardous. Briefly looking at the men's side, Zverev, Hurkacz, and Evans picked up straight set wins, while Denis Shapovalov had to go the distance to overcome Philip Kohlschreiber. Daniil Medvedev beat a late surging Jan-Lennart Struffen 4, while 15-seed Alexei Minor lost to talented young Sebastian Korda. It felt that there are a lot more incomplete matches than complete, as Kyrgios and Humbert, for example, were forced to exit court 1 in the middle of their 5-set battle due to the curfew. It really isn't good that many of these matches and some scheduled for day 1, even like Monfils, are still not done. The scheduling has got to be better. On day 3, Djokovic, Sabalenka, and Murray headline action on center. Svitolina, Kyrgios, Humbert, Evans, and Venus are on court 1. On court 2, Canadians Andreescu and Auger-Aliassime finally start their tournaments, followed by Swiatek and Kenin. Azarenka, Muguruza, and Stevens are also some former Slam champs in action. That's it for this video, and let me know in the comments your thoughts of Serena and Adrian's falls, and whether you believe the tournament should be held accountable. Also, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you're notified whenever I post a Day 3 recap. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time here on Grand Slam Tennis News Today.